Hello, Internet. I'm always afraid of forgetting how important things are to me. This is possibly why I love lists so much. There's a cat down here. Hello, cat. In my journals, not to mention many countless apps, you will find lists. Lists of my favorite movies, favorite coffee shops, my favorite album, favorite restaurants, of cities I might possibly want to live in one day. A list says, here are important things that I know are important, and I know they're important because, look at that, I took the time and I wrote them down. Sometimes I wonder, though, if that fear of forgetting is really, in some ways, just a fear of being forgotten. A lovely woman once told me, upon seeing a page in my journal absolutely filled with writing everywhere, no blank spaces at all, that what I actually clearly suffered from was a fear of emptiness. That all of those lists, all of that writing, all of that putting my thoughts onto the page and taking memories and making them tangible and writing them down was just a fear of a kind of nothingness. She said that there was a word for this in visual art. Horror vacui. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it. I guess I could have looked it up and asked Google to pronounce it, but I'm going with what I said. You see examples of this horror vacui in art just across space and time. Basically everywhere. You see it in the arrangement of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs that are written all over the wall, no empty space. The work of Edward Gorey. All those crazy crowd scenes in Where's Waldo. YouTube videos in which stillness and silence has been obliterated. Replaced with endless, quick, sharp cuts from thing to stuff, thing, stuff. And people speaking really fast. But here's the question, why? Why are we so afraid of emptiness and silence? So, I looked on the internet, I talked to people, there are several reasons that I came across. 1, the fear of death. 2, because the emptiness outside somehow reminds us of some emptiness inside ourselves, and or that the emptiness is actually full of all of our fears and all of the other monsters. So it's not really emptiness we're afraid of, it's the monsters that we cast into the emptiness and see reflected back. Or 3, some people have this belief of action being better than inaction, stuff being better than no stuff. Maybe this is because we perceive time as only moving in one direction, and so we think we have to keep moving with it, because if we stand still, then time is going to leave us, and we're going to be left behind. Yeah, that does sound kind of scary. I think I'm afraid of waste. I think I'm afraid of wasting my time and of wasting space. Hence, if I have a thought, I want to write it down. If I have a blank page, I want to fill it up. I used to keep one journal by my bed, solely for the purpose that all the thoughts I had as I was going to sleep or as soon as I woke up, I would have the journal there to write them down before I forgot. And then one day, a teacher told me he used to do that too. He used to have this journal. They would write down all of his last thoughts of the day. But then, one day, he stopped. He stopped writing everything down. He stopped keeping a journal by his bed. What he figured out was that the really important thoughts, the things that really mattered for the story that he might be writing, those thoughts, when he would sit down and start writing again, the really important ones, usually found their way back. He realized that writing down every thought he had for fear of forgetting them meant that his notebook and mind were cluttered, and he really couldn't pick out the things that were important anymore, which is how I think about it sometimes. This realization that trying to remember everything might just lead to forgetting the things that are most important to me. The land of forgetting and the forgotten, that's where our dreams come from. And our nightmares, yes, yeah. And if you think about it that way, everything that you'll ever create really comes from that emptiness, from that blank page. Maybe really, there's no such thing as emptiness. There's no such thing as nothing. Every piece of existence is already filled with its own history. And when you write or draw or speak or shout, you're just adding some piece of yourself to the history of everything ever. Something like that. Maybe that's scarier. I don't know. But I feel better when I think about emptiness like that. When I allow myself to be still and quiet and to forget things. So that maybe I can remember the things that matter. I don't remember who said it, but what they said was this. Myths aren't true in spite of having never happened. Myths are true because they happen over and over again. With the sound of robots. With songs they have sung for 1,000 years. A road down there. There's a little road after the McDonald's. There's some stuff on it. We gonna go there? No.